Imagine you want to send $100 to a friend overseas. You hit send, and a few seconds later, it's there. Simple, right? But what if I told you that simple transaction is an illusion? A fragile one, built on a century-old system teetering on the edge of collapse. And that the money you think you're sending isn't really moving at all? This isn't just about wiring funds. It's a story of hidden empires, ghost money, and a silent, global power struggle that affects every dollar you earn. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn will change how you see money forever. To understand this illusion, we need to go back over a century, long before the internet, to a time of telegrams and steamships. The world was globalizing, but money was stuck. Sending it across borders was a nightmare, slow, risky, and incredibly expensive. Businesses had to physically ship gold or rely on a tangled web of individual bank agreements. It was chaos. A solution was desperately needed, one that could make international trade not just possible, but profitable. Enter the correspondent banking network. This wasn't a single invention by one person, but a gradual organic system built out of necessity. Here's the core idea, and it's a mind-bender. When a bank in New York needed to pay a bank in London, they didn't send cash. Instead, they used a third, larger bank, a correspondent bank that held accounts for both of them. The New York bank would ask this big bank to simply debit its account and credit the London bank's account. No physical money ever crossed the ocean. It was just a ledger entry in a trusted institution. These big correspondent banks, mostly in New York and London, became the world's financial switchboards. They held accounts for thousands of smaller banks around the globe. These accounts were called nostro and vostro accounts, which is just Latin for ours and yours. A bank in Brazil would have a nostro account with a bank in New York. Our money held by you. For the New York bank, this was a vostro account. Your money held by us. It was a brilliant system of IOUs, a gentleman's agreement built on trust and mutual need. For decades, this system worked beautifully. It powered post-war reconstruction, fueled global trade, and made the world economy hum. The US dollar, as the world's primary reserve currency, became the lifeblood of this network. Most international transactions, even those between, say, Japan and Germany, were first converted into dollars, settled through a US correspondent bank, and then converted back into the final currency. This gave a handful of Western banks immense unseen power. They weren't just processing payments. They were the gatekeepers of the global economy. If you were a bank, you had to be part of their club to do business internationally. But then, the world changed. The digital revolution arrived, and suddenly, everything was instant. We could stream movies, chat in real time with someone across the planet, but sending money? That was still stuck in the age of the telegram. The breaking point came not with a bang, but with a slow, grinding realization. Transactions that should have been instant were taking days. Why? Because your simple payment was bouncing between multiple correspondent banks, each one taking a cut, each one adding delays, and each one a potential point of failure. Think of it like a flight with multiple layovers. Your $100 starts its journey in your bank, then gets routed to a regional correspondent, then to a major money center bank in New York, then to another international bank in Europe, and finally to your friend's local bank. Each stop involves compliance checks, currency conversions, and of course fees. Those hidden fees were the real shocker. A payment might start at $100 but arrive as 90, eaten away by a chain of invisible intermediaries. The system designed for efficiency had become a slow, expensive, and opaque monster. The fallout was immense. Businesses lost money on delayed payments and unpredictable fees. Individuals sending remittances home to their families were hit the hardest, losing a significant chunk of their hard-earned money to a system they didn't understand. And then came the failed fixes. For years, the industry tried to patch the system, created new messaging standards, and built shared platforms. These were just band-aids on a fundamentally broken model. They were trying to put a faster engine in a horse-drawn carriage, ignoring the fact that the very concept of the carriage was obsolete. The core problem remained, the reliance on a chain of intermediaries. Now, here's where the story connects directly to today, and the parallels are chilling. The same patterns of centralized control and hidden costs are repeating, but in new digital forms. You might think modern fintech apps have solved this, right? When you use a cool new app to send money, you assume it's all high-tech magic. But here says the shocking truth. A huge number of them are just pretty user interfaces built on top of that same century-old correspondent banking network. They're still using those nostro vostro accounts, just hidden behind a slick app. They've made the first and last mile faster, but the long, slow middle journey is often still there. And the data is staggering. The World Bank reports that the average cost of sending a $200 remittance is still over 6%. That's billions of dollars a year siphoned from the world's poorest families, feeding a system that has outlived its usefulness. This isn't a victimless problem. It's a tax on global mobility, a barrier to entrepreneurship, and a drag on the entire world economy. We have the technology for instant, free, global communication, yet we accept a financial system that operates on the time scale of the 1970s. So, what have we learned from this journey into the hidden world of money? Here are 3 key takeaways. First, most cross-border payments are an illusion. Money doesn't fly through the internet. It's a series of ledger updates in an ancient network of banks, and this illusion is slow and expensive. Second, centralized systems, no matter how brilliant at their inception, eventually become bottlenecks. The correspondent banking network that once connected the world now constrains it, creating inefficiency and concentrating power in the hands of a few. And third, true innovation doesn't just put a new face on an old system. It rebuilds it from the ground up. This leaves us with a critical question. As new technologies like blockchain and digital currencies emerge, are we on the verge of finally replacing this 100-year-old system? Or will the old guard simply find a way to absorb these new tools, creating another, more sophisticated illusion of progress? The silent battle for the future of money is happening right now. Its outcome will define the next century of global commerce. The next time you send money abroad, remember the ghost in the machine, the complex, hidden journey your money takes. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this deep dive into the financial system fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that unravel the hidden mechanics of our world. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next one.